Update: am I the a-hole for kicking my partner out after she told me to stop seeing my daughter? Original post: my girlfriend, 22 female, and I, 24 male, have been together for just under a year now. A few days ago, she asked if we could talk, and I immediately feared she wanted to break up. However, after our conversation, it was not what I expected at all. A bit of background: I have 2 daughters, ages 4 and 2. I became a single dad when I was 20, just a few months after my first daughter was born. Her mother left us, and I've been raising her on my own ever since. About a year or so later, I met my second ex-partner. She was very pregnant and, like me, was facing the reality of being a single mom soon. Her baby daddy had left her and their daughter, leaving her with no support. We were together for almost 2 years and became a blended family. During that time, I raised our youngest daughter as my own, loving and caring for her as such. Both of my daughters are daddy's girls, and I cherish our relationship. I've never once second-guessed my role as her father. Unfortunately, my ex-partner struggled with mental health issues, including BPD and bipolar disorder, which eventually led to infidelity. Despite our attempts at couples counseling, I realized I couldn't continue the relationship. We split amicably, but I made a promise to my youngest daughter that I would always be there for her, and I fully intend to keep that promise. She spends weekends with me and occasionally stays a few days during the week, and this has been a constant for over a year. Now, fast forward to the present. I met my current partner shortly after that breakup, around a month later. Honestly, it was supposed to be a casual fling, but we hit it off so well that we ended up spending the whole night talking, playing games, and getting to know each other. We didn't go beyond kissing, but it felt great. From the start, I was open about my situation, being a single father to 2 girls, and the unique relationship with my youngest daughter. At the time, she seemed fine with it and didn't bring it up again. During our recent talk, she expressed that she's uncomfortable with the fact that I'm still involved in my daughter's life and my ex's life. She said that it's emotionally ignorant and unfair to her that I continue this relationship. And in her words, you can't possibly love her as much as your actual daughter. She's not even yours. This really hit me hard, and I admit I didn't handle it well. It turned into shouting on both sides, and I told her to leave my house. The crappy part was both my kids were in their rooms and heard the whole thing. I really hope they heard hardly anything or nothing at all. It was probably the first time they've ever seen me like that. She said she went to stay with her sister, and now everyone is messaging me, from her friends and family, backing my partner's opinion that she isn't even mine, and questioning why I care so much about her. Thankfully, my family's on my side and are doing their best to support me emotionally, but it's hard as they live in another state. My mother and stepdad are planning on flying in this coming weekend to help out, which is the best news I've heard all day. Honestly, I'm really confused right now. Am I being unreasonable or unfair? I'm struggling to process my emotions and don't know what to do next. Note, I should also add that my ex and I remain decent friends, and she is a great mother to our youngest daughter. However, my oldest daughter's mother is currently MIA and has been for some time. She is not in the picture. My youngest daughter's mother is a great mom but works as a flight attendant and has for a few years now, so that's the only reason my daughter stays with me a couple of days a week on some occasions, so she can pick up extra hours when she wants or needs. This only happens 3 to 4 times a month, if that. Mentally, she is much better and is doing her best. We just didn't work out, but she continues to make sure that our daughter will always have me as her daddy. Also, my current girlfriend doesn't live with me, but she does stay a few nights a week, and we go out when I find the time. I haven't heard from her since the incident, which maybe is for the best. When I wrote this, I was definitely trying to word things the best I could, but when upset, words don't really form in the best way. I do not ever plan on leaving my daughter's life. What I was more looking for in answers was whether I was wrong for kicking her out. Should we have talked more about it? I also don't think I jumped into a relationship too fast after my first daughter. It was over a year later, maybe even more, when I met my ex. Then a month later, I met my new girlfriend, which was real fast and probably the quickest I've ever jumped into a relationship. But I really thought we had a great connection. My first daughter's mom was my high school sweetheart. We were together for years and were even each other's first, but after our daughter was born, she completely changed and just decided she had to leave. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Might I suggest gently that you pursue therapy and stay away from relationships for a bit? You're quite young and it's been a series of train wrecks. Focus on yourself and your daughters for a bit. This, you said it more diplomatically than I would have. Not the a-hole OP, but time to focus on raising your kids and stay out of relationships until you seek therapy. This is not a pattern you want your daughters to emulate. Your girlfriend is an a-hole. Take some time and focus on yourself. Also, a piece of advice though, emotionally she might be yours and that is great. However, legally she isn't. If you mean that you want this little girl in your life forever, it might be worth talking to your ex about adoption. Your ex could change her mind and remove your daughter from your life at any time. I'd also maybe consider ensuring his ex of his oldest can't come back and cause issues. I know in my state, a parent can have their parental rights terminated if they have been absent from a child's life for 6 months or longer without financial support, communication, or visitation. There are always some parents who show up years later trying to get custody and are granted some on some level because no one thought they would. Then it causes upheaval for the child. Something to discuss with a lawyer as well. Figure out options. Now for the update. Thank you all for the incredible support after my post went viral. My girls and I are truly grateful. A special thanks to all the parents who stepped up for a child when it wasn't expected. Children often face the harsh realities of broken homes and trauma, and they need our protection. They are innocent and didn't choose to be born into this world, so they need us more than we realize. As parents, we may feel like we're not doing enough or wish we could change things, but the past is behind us, and all we can do is strive to be better. I have legal rights to both of my children. For my oldest, the courts granted me full custody after her mother abandoned her, and I don't receive child support, nor do I want any from her. For my youngest, I have joint guardianship, which is different from adoption or full guardianship, and visitation. Her mother suggested this arrangement since she sees me as her daughter's only father. While adoption isn't possible right now due to her age and our unmarried status, we're safe on that front. The courts typically require a stronger bond before approving adoption, even if we feel differently. During my breakup with my youngest daughter's mother, she deeply regretted her mistake and tried to make amends and continue our relationship. However, I couldn't move past it. Though I still love and care for her as the mother of my child and as a good friend, she has since moved on, but still views me as her child's only father. Despite her mistake, I know she's worked hard to better herself, and I forgave her a long time ago. To be fair, this relationship was the quickest I've ever been in, and it was only my third one in my entire life. My first relationship lasted years, starting when we were both 14. My second came over a year later after going through tough therapy to cope with the challenges of being a single father at such a young age. Moving forward, I plan to focus on therapy, spend time at home with my kids, and work on my small cafe business here in the Valley. For the update, honestly, all of this really blindsided me. Looking back, she seemed perfect. She was always doing little things for me, randomly getting me gifts, and even cooking for me when she stayed over. She'd initiate intimacy every time, and I'd get constant steamy photos from her, so it honestly seemed like she was really happy and content with everything. I thought I'd lucked out and found someone who truly understood me and made me feel valued. But in hindsight, it's clear that people are better at hiding things than we often realize. She clearly wasn't okay with any of it, and I had no idea. It's crazy how someone can put on such a perfect front and seem like a completely different person the next day. Anyway, after my post gained some traction, that same night, I sent a brief text to her saying that I'm sorry for the way she feels, that we aren't right for each other, and that my daughter will always be my daughter, no matter what, because my love for my girls will always be greater than anything else. Later that night, I was just hanging out with my girls watching Moana 2 in my room. We all passed out in bed, thinking it would be a peaceful night. But at 2 a.m., I was woken up by loud banging on my door, which sent a wave of panic through me. I immediately woke up, grabbed my piece, and went to see what was going on. It was my now ex-girlfriend, stumbling drunk and emotional, completely out of control. She was pounding on the door, yelling and crying, and honestly, it terrified me, and probably my kids as well. When I opened the door, there she was, begging to talk and wanting me to hear her out. To make matters worse, my oldest came to the door too, wanting to know what was happening. I quickly told her to watch over her little sister, making sure she was okay while I dealt with the situation. My oldest went into big sister mode, which made me proud in that moment. Realizing that things were probably getting out of hand and that I couldn't get her to calm down, I knew I had to do something. I called the police and explained that my drunk ex was at my door, refusing to leave. In less than 10 minutes, a police car pulled up and they quickly took her into custody. The situation was over just like that, and I haven't heard from her since. The officer suggested I file a restraining order, which I already planned to do after everything that happened. Then just a few hours ago, I got a call from an unknown number. It was a friend of hers asking if I had seen her, and it felt so good to say that her friend was probably in jail, and that she wasn't my responsibility anymore since she wasn't even my blood. That suggestion came from a comment on my last post, and it honestly felt so empowering to finally set that boundary. Now things are starting to calm down, and I can focus on taking care of my kids and myself. I've blocked everyone associated with her and plan on just living for now, doing what I can to be the best dad. Maybe one day I'll show my girls this post if they ever feel alone in this world, to let them know that daddy will always have their back. To my wonderful children, I am proud of you and will always be. No matter who comes into our lives, I will always choose to be your father first and never last. I cannot wait to see what amazing things you do in this world and what amazing things you'll do for others. And when my time eventually comes, know this, you will both always be my greatest achievement. I love you so much. Good for you for sticking up for your daughters and yourself. I hope you all have a wonderful life ahead. Honestly, OP did the right thing. Standing up for your daughters and yourself is so important. I agree he did the right thing. Her showing up drunk like that knowing his daughters were there shows how young and immature she is. In the first post, her wanting to talk to him about his youngest daughter with his kids in the home also showed exactly how immature she is. And of course, no empathy for not caring about his bond with his youngest. Good for OP for standing up for his girls. Get cameras for around your house and your car. She'll be back. She's giving off tire slashing vibes. 100%. My first thought also, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and I'm afraid she'll try to hurt him and or his daughters. OP, please take steps to ensure your and your daughter's safety. Funny enough, I do have a camera already, so maybe more is needed. In the moment of things, all I could think was protecting my kids. My mind was racing to intruders, and from where I live, it's something that happens often, so first thing I did was get a camera and an EDC. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go back to my husband after he slapped me? I, 32 female, have been married to 35 male for 5 years, and we have a 3-year-old daughter. We always had a very good relationship. We love each other a lot, but things took a sudden turn. We both work in IT. I make $85,000 a year, and he makes $92,000 a year. Things changed 2 weeks ago. I got a promotion and became a manager, and my salary increased to $135,000 yearly with an additional bonus. When I told him, he was clearly not happy at all. Things started changing. He got upset and asked me not to accept the promotion and to keep working in the same position. I told him I worked so hard to reach this point, that I am very qualified for it, and that we could make good use of the money for our future. He eventually agreed, but on one condition, that I not let anyone know I became a manager or how much I am making. I'm not even sure why he wanted that. He said he just doesn't like others knowing I make more than him. I agreed, just to avoid fights and chaos, because I needed to focus my energy on doing well in my new position. Inside, I was so excited that I couldn't stop myself from telling my sister. I asked her not to tell anyone, but she told my mom and dad. When my parents came over this weekend, they congratulated me, and my husband was shocked and angry. He left the house, and I told my parents he was just upset about something at work. When he came back late that night, he confronted me about why I told my parents. I explained that I only told my sister because I was excited and wanted to feel proud of what I'd achieved. In response, he slapped me so hard that I passed out. When I woke up, he was crying, apologizing, and begging me not to call the cops or tell my family. I was so shocked I couldn't think straight. I didn't want to worry my parents, and for the sake of my daughter, I stayed. He kept apologizing, brought flowers the next morning, and the day went on. But later, he brought up the same topic again, how the family wouldn't respect him the same way now that they knew I was making more than him. He was clearly angry again. While I was playing with my daughter, she started crying because she couldn't find one of her toys. He asked her to be quiet, but she kept crying, and then he slapped her. That was it for me. I took my daughter and went to my parents' house. Since Sunday, I've been at my parents' place. He keeps calling them, crying, saying how sorry he is and how he wants me back and will never do it again. He's literally begging, and now my parents are asking me to give him another chance. He's trying to manipulate everyone with emotions and tears. I'm too afraid to even talk to him. I know he'll hit me again if he gets the chance. My family's now leaning toward his side, thinking I'm trying to break up the home and that I'm overreacting. I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm moving in with my sister for a few days until I figure things out. Edit. I forgot to mention that I only told my parents we had a fight and that he abused and slapped our daughter, but I'm too ashamed to admit he slapped me too. I feel so ashamed even thinking about that moment. After reading most of the comments, I feel like it's time to tell everything and involve the police. I'm going to talk to them soon. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. This isn't a one-time mistake. This is abuse. Please don't go back. Protect yourself and your daughter. The morning after flowers and stuff is called love bombing. Abusers do this. Steps to do now. Police, restraining order, divorce, full custody. 100%. If you come back to him, it will end 10 times worse. One slap is too many, and he went way beyond that and will continue to go on. There are so many stories about DV, and they all end the same way if the victim doesn't leave. I know a woman who was beaten within an inch of her life. Her now ex tried to unalive her and their infant daughter one night. He specifically targeted the two girls in the house. The only reason they're both alive is because her teenage sons had to stab their own father with kitchen knives until the police showed up. It started with a slap and escalated from there. She needed emergency treatment for broken bones and lacerations. One of her cousins, a dentist, fixed her broken teeth for free. It would have cost thousands. Do not go back. This escalates quickly. Not the a-hole for protecting yourself and your daughter. Now for the update. I had a heartfelt conversation with my parents, laying out every detail of the situation exactly as it happened. My dad was utterly heartbroken. His face expressed the weight of devastation as his emotions poured out. In contrast, my mom took on a more nurturing role, gently trying to soothe my distress. She urged me to take a step back, let the heat of the moment pass, and reconsider the possibility of a second chance. My dad, however, agreed to seek legal counsel and involve the police, showing he's serious about addressing the situation. I appreciate all the support and guidance I've received from everyone. At this moment, it seems clear to me that separating might be the most prudent course of action for my daughter's future.